welcome to the latest instalment in my Bass Lick of the Week series. Now before we dive into the line itself, please hit the like button, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Okay, so this week's exercise is a slow tempo fingerstyle funk line, and we're going to be exploring the sound of the Dorian mode in this exercise. We'll talk a little bit more about the Dorian mode as we get into the line. Essentially, for the moment, let's just talk about the fact that we're playing over a D minor 7 chord, and let's think about the notes in a D minor 7 chord. We have D, F, A, and C. Those are going to be our important chord tones when we're playing over a D minor 7 chord. Okay, so let's take a look at the opening phrase of this line. We're going to play this. Now this is all of the first two beats and just leading into the third beat of the line, and we've got a really strong melodic idea here that really reinforces the sound of that D minor 7 chord. Let's talk about the notes. We've got a D root note played at the 10th fret of the E string. We're then going to play a ghost note just at the end of that first beat, and that's going to be played on the A string. That's just going to lead us into a hammer-on between the G and the A that happens on beat 2. So the G is just a scale tone. The A, of course, is the 5th of the D minor 7 chord. And then at the very end of beat number 2, just before the downbeat for beat 3, we're going to play the F, the 3rd of the chord, minor 3rd. That's going to be played at the 10th fret of the G string. So literally just coming just before the downbeat for beat number 3, that F, on the final 16th note subdivision of the beat. We're going to add in another D, the octave D at the 12th fret of the D string. That happens just after the downbeat for beat number 3. So 16th note rest on beat 3, and then we're going to play that D. If you don't read music and you don't really understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about beats and subdivisions and things like that, you should be able to hear this reasonably clearly, because it's quite an attention-grabbing sort of a line. And we're going to finish off this bar with this phrase. This is going to be E on the G string, 9th fret, and then we're going to come down onto the D string and play C, B, C, frets 10 and 9. That's our first bar, and really strongly reflecting the sound of a D minor 7 chord there, because we've got all the chord tones being used. I should say that the C that we've just used there, that gives us the minor 7th of the chord. So we're representing the chord very strongly with all 4 chord tones being used: D, F, A, and C. Now at this point, let's talk about the Dorian mode. Now the Dorian mode is the second mode of the major scale, so it begins on the second scale degree of the major scale. So if we're playing a D Dorian mode, that means that we actually belong to the key of C major. So D is the second scale degree of the C major scale. Now if you know your scales, you hopefully will know that C major contains all natural notes, no sharps, no flats, all the white notes on a keyboard effectively. So we're taking all of the notes from the key of C, but we're playing them beginning and ending on D, and that gives us a D Dorian mode. So we would have D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and D. And it's appropriate for being used over a minor 7 chord, a D minor 7 chord in this case. Now, the sort of reason for using the Dorian mode really is that it has a defining characteristic, and the way that you establish what that defining characteristic is, you need to compare it to another scale. So we're going to compare the D Dorian mode with the D natural minor scale. If you take a D natural minor scale, you have this. So D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, and D. Now the D Dorian mode is different because it contains a B natural instead of a B flat. So the way we would typically think of the Dorian mode as being a minor scale but with a raised 6. Okay, so that's how we're going to get our Dorian sound, is by exploiting that raised 6. And that's what's happening in this line here. That little lick there we've got between the C and the B, that's really giving us the Dorian sound. Okay, so the Dorian gives us a minor sound for use over minor 7 chords, but the defining characteristic is that raised 6. It's going to give it a slightly different kind of sound to just using the natural minor scale. Anyway, that's lots of music theory that you might not have wanted. So let's just recap on that first bar. Okay, so as we move into the second bar of the line, we're going to open up in a similar kind of way. A little bit different on the second beat now. We're going to have our hammer on between the G and the A, as we did before. Come up to the C on the D string, and then back onto the A. So again, reinforcing those chord tones, the C and the A. And then we're going to finish off the bar with a run of 16th notes. Just coming down through the mode. And we're going to be doing this from the F at the 10th fret of the G string. So F and E, second finger to first finger, I recommend there. Come down onto the D string for D, C, and B. Down onto the A string for the A and the G. And then down onto the E string for that F. Okay, so far, let's put those two bars together. Let's see what we've got. Very much a Dorian kind of sound. The more you play these lines, the more you become comfortable with the sound of these various different modes. Okay, now the good news is, as we reach bar number 3, that's going to be exactly the same as bar number 1. Exactly the same thing. And then in bar number 4, we have a fill, and it's based on a kind of a repeating idea. So I'll play the fill first of all, and then we'll break it down. Let's hear it again. Okay, so let's take a look at what happens on beat number 1. We're going to play this phrase. So this is going to be E and A, 14th frets of the D and G strings, and I'm barring across those notes with my first finger. My second finger is going to come in and play the F at the 15th fret of the D string. And then my fourth finger comes in and plays the D at the 17th fret of the A string. Okay, and then we're going to play similar phrases on the next 2 beats. In the same hand position, we're now going to use the second finger to bar between the C and the F. Fourth finger is going to come in with the D. First finger is now going to play the B. So. We're then going to move downwards a whole step. Same kind of idea once again, barring across between the A and the D with the first finger, 12th fret. Third finger is going to come in for the B. Fourth finger on the G. And that's going to give us our 3 cells, if you like. And then on beat number 4, we have a 16th note rest. We're just playing F. Just really dragging our ear backwards down to the D. That's our fill. Really nice line that really, again, reinforces the sound of the Dorian mode, which, as you remember, is a minor scale, but with a raised 6, in this case, the B. Okay, let's play this line from the top. Okay, and that is bass lick of the week number 10. Now, in terms of what I've done for the for tone on this one, Because this is a fingerstyle funk groove and I want that kind of tight, funky sound, I'm using the bridge pickup, not quite in isolation, but I'm using mostly like 90% of this line is this tone is going to be the bridge pickup, and I've rolled my tone control down quite a bit because these are reasonably new strings and a little bit bright, so I don't want too much of that brightness in this sound. I want a bit more of a sort of mid-range heavy sound, so I've turned down the tone control a little bit. If you can do the same kind of thing, it's going to give you a sound that works really nicely for a line like this. Okay, thanks for checking out Bass Lick of the Week number 10. Thanks for checking out the latest instalment in my Bass Lick of the Week series. If you'd like to download the PDF worksheet and audio files for this exercise, just click on the link in the description below. And if you enjoyed this lesson, please head over to basslinepublishing.com to check out my full range of video courses. Okay, I'll see you next week for another bass groove.